Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast, and today we are doing a little bit of a retrospective on every single Generation 7 beta and scrapped Pokemon. We learned so much about Game Freak and the Pokemon Company through the Teraleak of 2024. What we're going to be doing today is taking a look at all of the Pokemon that we learned about that were scrapped and originally planned for the Generation 7 games, Pokemon Sun and Moon. And what's really cool is some of these Pokemon ended up debuting in Scarlet and Violet nearly 2 generations later. So while we go through this list of scrapped Pokemon and Pokemon archetypes, I'm going to be thinking about which of these Pokemon could show up in future Pokemon games. My name is DustyGogoat. Today I'm joined by TraderLumi.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
It seems like just yesterday we experienced the fateful Teraleak of 2024, but time is flying, and some of the stuff really feels like just part of modern history. So I'm excited today to kind of go back, right? Do a little bit of a retrospective on a lot of these things that we had initially covered here on the podcast, but now we can kind of sit with them, and I think with a little bit of hindsight. So Lumi, could you please tell listeners, just kind of give people a recap on what the Teraleak was, and just kind of an overview of what we learned from this event?
Yeah, so basically, and I believe it was August of last year of 2024, someone hacked Game Freak and was able to get a terabyte, that's where Teraleak comes from, worth of information on the Pokemon games. And this included past Pokemon games like Beta Pokemon for, of course, Gen 7, but also Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5. Then also it included even some development material on Gen 8, Gen 9, and it even included some stuff on future Pokemon games. Like, at the time, we knew nothing about Legends EA, but it actually contained information on it, and even on Generation 10. It included anime stuff. I mean, it was huge. It was a terabyte's worth of information. For context, that's like 4 iPhones or something.
That's a lot of music songs, MP3s.
It's so many.
A lot of MP3s.
So many songs. You could download all of Kendrick Lamar's songs, and you still wouldn't have a terabyte.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's true. It's true. Literally,
way more. Actually.
We still never got that double album for Damn.
And even if you had, it wouldn't have been a terabyte size.
It wouldn't have been a Teraleak. Okay.
This person then leaked it publicly. So the world has it now. And it's interesting because before we've gotten some beta Pokemon from Game Freak, we've seen it from like the Space World demo and stuff, but then we got like the actual design, right? And that's it. But here we actually have context. We have notes by Game Freak about like what this Pokemon was supposed to be, why they got
which
rid
is
of it,
really
why
important.
They changed it. Oh, it's so important.
Absolutely.
It's so cool. We're getting to see behind the curtain more than we ever have.
Yeah, I think the context is really key, because even when we get normal like data leaks or data mines of games in the lead up of a new game, right? We'll get like static models, T-pose, Pokemon, right? That's how we get introduced to a Pokemon. That's like usually when we get a leak, that's usually what it is. It's like in the lead up of a game, we see a bunch of new Pokemon, but out of context from the game itself and how it was intended to be shown to us. It's separate from the story. It's separate from everything. So we got a lot of, so having that context from Game Freak is really cool.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's interesting with this specifically too, because a lot of these aren't even designs. Like a lot of these will be concepts, descriptions that Game Freak wrote down of like, I want to make a Pokemon that, this wasn't one of them, but I want to make a pink fairy type dolphin. And like, there is no design to look at. They just said they wanted to make that,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which brings it to the point of those are concepts that they could use in the future, because the ones that didn't make it, which is what we're covering, are like, they're still in an archive somewhere that Game Freak knows of. Now that they leaked, that kind of hurts the whole situation, which we'll see later on here. But yeah, they're still in the minds.
I mean, but
of the
conversely,
creators.
there were concepts that leaked that still ended up kind of getting reworked into something. I think about Ditto had a scrap steel type evolution, and a lot of people believe that was reworked into Meltan. Surfetched has a lot of similarities to Madame or something like that. Yeah.
Madame.
So that was a planned far-fetched evolution. And again, those were leaked, but they still were reworked into design. So that's the thing is we'd see them reworked. They wouldn't be one-to-one to what we're getting described here. But
they never would. They never basically will be either because they scrapped them for a reason. So, like they want to make them better no matter what.
The one that always stands out in my mind is Scrafty. Like, I didn't realize how much of a a Game Freak favorite Scrafty was as a design, as a Pokemon. We learned from the same Teraleak that Scrafty had been in development since Generation 3. And then was redrafted in Generation 4. I think it was even further than that. It might have actually been Generation 2, but I'm forgetting now.
It was 3 to 5, I think. 3, and then it came out 3 to 5.
But there were a couple different versions of it in between. There was a couple different versions of Scrafty in between. And just kind of cool to think that like that Pokemon that had been scrapped so early on was like wound up being on like Ash Ketchum's team, which I don't watch the anime, but I think that is significant, right? When Ash gets a Pokemon, that's usually a signal that the like Game Freak and the staff like believe in that Pokemon.
That's something too. It's like I think that was a Pokemon we always went, why is it on Ash's team? And then that kind of gave us that added context of because apparently they love it, and that's kind of what we're looking for in this is just being able to peek behind the curtain.
This is definitely about Gen 7, but since we're on this topic and we discuss on this podcast, I love the Gen 3 Scrafty, and it evolved into Grovyle.
Pull it up.
It evolved into Grovyle.
Oh yes, that's what it was, dude. Yes.
And it was so people will hate me for this, but I would have preferred that whole thing. Cut the entire Scrafty line and move Grovyle out of the Trico line and just give me this, because he looked like a little adorable lizard in the skin, and then it evolves into like this majestic like golden blue Grovyle, and I am just in love with it, like a dinosaur. I wish it was standalone. So
that's what it was. So there's a Gen 3. This is the Gen 3. What you're seeing on the screen is the Gen 3 version of Scrafty, and then there's another beta version of Scrafty in Gen 5 before we finally get it in the final build of the game. And that's so cool. Like, it's just so cool to think that, like, I just think what's so exciting about beta Pokemon is that they're a lot more fluid, right? The process of creation is a lot more fluid than we think, because once these Pokemon are like decided on, once they're revealed to us and they're brought into the universe of Pokemon, that is what it is. It's no longer a concept or an idea. It's not an intellectual property. It is a living creature in our minds, right? In this world that we believe in, which sounds kind of hilarious, but that is the truth. That is the truth. They become solidified wherever they are. So anyways,
and that's something you'll see in Gen 7 too. You know, you teased it a little bit in the intro, Dusty, but Gen 3 to Gen 5, that's a 2-year gap. There's some Pokemon here, Gen 7 that
it's over 6 years.
Back in Gen 9. So 2-year gap.
So okay, I kind of want to jump to the new the flying type Eeveelution, but we're on shout out to PokeEos, friends of the podcast. They have this awesome website that covers a bunch of they covered the Teraleak, but they got this nice website that's what we're using today to kind of like showcase some of the art. They've compiled a lot of these Gen 7 scrapped Pokemon. So we're going to go in order based on their website. First up. Yeah.
I will say before we begin, like also with what Lumi was saying in the intro, it's weird how this all ended up happening and where we're at now. Like, there are no real good places that it has all been recorded. So like here that we're at PokeEos, like they have a part of it, right? But the stuff that was
full story.
Yeah, that's so much stuff, especially from Gen 7, was overlooked because at this point we were like days into this leak, like a week or so, like of just nonstop leaks, and it was like nobody's even paying attention almost anymore.
A lot of information was dumped out online.
Right.
Got to give credit where it's due. Central Pokemon Leaks, they did cover a lot of this stuff publicly on their Twitter page. A lot of that stuff was also removed from the it was taken down. So all this stuff exists on the internet, but it's very it's broken.
You have to know what you're searching for.
Yeah, it's really hard. So like even with like what we're gonna be referencing, like it's tough to be like some things might have come from some person and you're like, maybe that happened for real or not. We think so. We think a lot of stuff lost.
I think a lot of this has been corroborated where it's it's real, but there are some like special cases where maybe it could be doubtful, but a lot of this stuff it's straight from the Teraleak.
And also you don't know like how far it made it into development. You know what I mean? Like how early on did they go, this is not a good idea? And how like some of it could have been like, I don't know, even during the marketing cycle of Sun and Moon, they still wanted to do this, but then decide not to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just mean when it comes to the sources, like where is this coming from? I mean, most of it's coming from the Teraleak. It's just word of mouth, basically. Yeah. So I wish there was a place that had everything
cataloged.
So one day, maybe somebody. But
so first up, Scrapped Ultra Beast. So I'm assuming this is one Ultra Beast that was scrapped, potentially planned. It's apparently called Mazura, and I'm assuming this is like from a data leak. Also referred to as D or Beast Y. There's a ton of Ultra Beasts that were debuted in Sun and Moon. More showed up in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And I think it just makes sense. Like with all of these things, that Game Freak, when you start a concept, right, you just write down ideas. You just start putting stuff pen to paper. You write down the ideas. It's creative freedom. What kind of ideas can we think of? And some stuff just doesn't actually make it to the final cut. So apparently this appeared in the 2017 Pokemon movie screenplay. Refine. They crossed out Infinite Zero. And then apparently that's the signature Pokemon of the antagonist Cross. So this would be like maybe Ash's rival or something.
Yeah. I wonder if this was supposed to be a mythical Pokemon too, because so in that movie, that was the debut of Marshadow. Mm-hmm. And so you have to wonder, was maybe Marshadow replaced this Pokemon, and that would have been interesting too, because like we don't have an Ultra Beast that is a mythical Pokemon. This could have been a mythical Pokemon that was an Ultra Beast.
What if Marshadow originally looked more like an Ultra Beast, or was an Ultra Beast at one point? It's literally a shadow. I don't think that is very, it's like this little chibi man that's made of shadows, like. That feels like it could just easily be a Ultra Beast.
He's design. A little toasted marshmallow.
Definitely
man.
Possible.
Yeah, dude, that's what we need.
I mean, it's very Marshadow is very about the culture of Hawaii or the Polynesians and all that stuff's over there. So I think it has reasons to be there. I think this is one of the most exciting things about this leak, actually.
I'm sure.
Why do you think
that's
because
cool. I just love having a new Ultra Beast. Like. And an Ultra Beast mythical would have been crazy. I just love it when we read the description of it all, and I just would have liked to have.
Yeah, there's a description.
All right, the Ultra Beast demonstrates remarkable combat abilities, combining aerial mobility through its wings, so not Marshadow, with powerful close range attacks. Its confirmed moveset includes Thunder Punch, Seismic Toss, Finishing Strike, Arm Hammer, showcasing both electric and fighting type capabilities. I mean, Marshadow is fighting type. This also sounds like Zeraora, though, not gonna lie. Mazura's communication is limited to saying D. What? And I'm sure that would be, that's just like it's like repeating its Pokemon name. Mm-hmm. And the screenplay depicts it at as an unusual, resilient fighter that continues battling even when exhausted, serves as Cross's strongest teammate, and played a significant role in the movie's climactic battle. That's kind of cool.
Which I think it was replaced with Incineroar. This is the movie where Pikachu's like, "But I love you."
Yeah, it was Pikachu talked, and it was really weird, and I didn't like it, if I'm honest.
It's like the worst Pokemon movie that exists. I love Charmeleon in this movie, though. I never saw it, but I just seen clips in Charmeleon. Fire.
I think too, some people speculate this could have been reworked into Buzzwole because it has wings, it's bipedal, and it seems to get a lot of
theories,
fighting
though. These
attributes.
Are theories.
Yeah, it's speculation.
Yeah, we're speculating.
I think it's pretty grounded speculation when you look at those details. Mazura, I would immediately kind of go Maz, like I'm thinking moth. So is it like some kind of Mothman?
Yeah, it's Japanese.
Which would have been cool.
I don't know about Moth.
Yeah,
man.
I don't know.
I don't know about Moth, man. But
What do you think it could be, Soul?
oh, I have no idea. It's Japanese. I have no idea what this creature could be, and it's an Ultra Beast. I just think of something insane, like I don't know, something that does not exist.
I think a moth would be kind of cool.
I would love a moth. It's like the only Ultra Beast that you can really like figure out.
But it did also get Fell Stinger too, which is like another thing too. It gets all these fighting moves and Fell Stinger, so like bug fighting.
I mean, it could have been. I mean, they said electric. It could have been like a mix of them all, but it depends when this was. Like, were the other ones already created? We don't really know.
It's like, at what point was this movie being developed? And it's interesting too because the anime, of course, Marshadow debuted in the anime, and then they, gave it out as a mystery gift. But also, the anime was where like Dusk Lycanroc first showed up before they gave it to us in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. So it's kind of neat to think like they were going to go this route where the anime was going to kind of debut a lot of exclusive Pokemon before they reached the games.
It's just interesting. I feel like Ultra Beasts are still pretty misunderstood to this point. Sure. There was even a new piece of lore kind of developed, and our friend Loxton did like a whole recap video of this. This was new information that we learned about the Ultra Beast in Pokemon TCG Pocket, where the new set that focused on Ultra Beasts, all of their signature moves in this like digital card game had to do with sound and musical instruments, which I didn't realize. I was talking to him about it. I didn't realize that was an alien like trope in movies.
Yeah, like
that aliens
waves.
Well, no, that aliens will communicate through music, not radio waves.
Oh,
I didn't know that. So so that's I feel like there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to the Ultra Beasts. Like, I just feel like there's not much known publicly. I also feel like there's a limited amount of theories around them. Like, people say that Ultra Beasts, what I hear is people say like Ultra Beasts are based on, what do you call it? Like invasive species, but that doesn't really totally make sense. You kind of have to bend it to make it make sense for paper, bamboo, electrical wires of circuitry. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think they were I don't think the individual designs were inspired by invasive species. Though bamboo is invasive.
I think it's up for interpretation.
I do think like the concept of Ultra Beasts could, have been like inspired by
totally
invasive species, especially like when you factor in like Hawaii, which is where Alola is. It has a lot of like invasive species. If you want to too, that also could kind of be a little bit of a like political or cultural commentary there. The invasion from basically other
the rest
countries.
of the world.
Yeah.
I think the Ultra Beasts like in the game are literally invasive species where they are from another, they're from another dimension that invade Hawaii, like Alola. You even have those themes or those motifs with like, Pokemon migrating to Alola and then developing into regional forms. Yep. So anyways, I think the Ultra Beasts are really cool. I think the thing that most of them share is that they don't really have like a very easily recognizable face. There's a bunch of cool designs right here by Bastion Phoenix on Twitter. But these are just like a bunch of like ideas for what new Ultra Beasts could look like. I love
all of these.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're nice. I like all the colors. They all have different like inspiration, and their body proportions are weird.
Heat Sight is my favorite.
Let me see. Heat Sight.
Yeah,
that guy's cool.
Terror.
So all we know is this information about Missouri. We don't know what the Ultra Beast would actually, literally look like, but we do have some of those descriptions.
I think this movie would have been 10 times better if there was an Ultra Beast as his partner Pokemon in it. I'm just saying.
Though,
I don't think it would have been.
I don't think it would have been because they probably wouldn't have like said.
They probably wouldn't have cut the Pikachu talking.
They probably wouldn't have said like how he got it, and it would have been like why does this dude have like an alien in his back pocket?
An alien mythical Pokemon.
Right.
You don't know, maybe, but yeah.
I think it makes more sense that he had Incineroar and Marshadow is an unconnected part of this movie.
Yeah. It would, I guess it would make it the movie more memorable because you would have like a mythical that's highlighted in that way.
You
But
also have to think, if it was for this specific movie, then it would probably be like their best Ultra Beast design. You know what I mean? Like they want to showcase it.
worst.
They want it to be
Eh.
popular. You know what I mean? I think
yeah, but that's
most of them are.
subjective.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They try to give the more popular ones the screen time. That's
Sure.
Yeah, that
the
is
thing.
true. You got Lucario and such. Dude,
Mhm.
the Ultra Beasts are so weird. I would love to see more of them. I really would.
There's been an Ultra
in
Beast
future
like
games.
revival in the community. People like love them now. Back when they first came out, people were like,
Surely, just like how Legends, ZA, they brought back Mega Evolution, surely in a Legends Alola, in an Alolan remake, whatever it might
Let's
be,
go.
we would bring back
Litten.
Ultra Beasts, and maybe then they'd be like, here's 4 more,
Yeah.
I hope so.
Because they're limitless, right? If they're from alternate like dimensions or whatever, then you can keep adding to this roster for forever. Because you
Mhm.
can just say like, okay, well, now there's a wormhole to this dimension, and here's a Pokemon from that one.
Absolutely, man. This is, you guys talk about dream games. I would love a game that continued to add to some of these archetypes, like Paradox Pokemon, Ultra Beasts. We're finally getting,
For sure.
I guess, I'm assuming we're going to get new Megas in Legend ZA at the time of recording. But yeah, it would be cool to kind of revisit some of that stuff. But to move on, from this Teraleak, we also learned about a scrapped flying type evolution. And this one's really cool. This one got a lot of buzz online. A flying type evolution for Eevee, or evolution for Eevee, was considered for Generation 7, only to be discarded because it was very similar to some fan art. And the quote here from the Teraleak, after being told that the design was similar, is this a quote?
I
Or
think
is
this
this
is like a recap
interpretation?
of like what they said in it, because I know they did. This is legit. They did say like it
Yeah.
was scrapped because it was similar to a fan design. So I guess this is just them recapping it.
Okay, so after being told that the design was similar to a design created by a fan, it was decided that the design, the Eeveelution design, costs would be very high. If there is a game where Flying Eevee is the main character, or if there is high value in the game, then it is not worth the high cost. We could make that decision, but that is not the case at the moment. We will put it on hold until we can determine the importance of the new Pokemon. I think the cost that they're talking about is potential lawsuit or something.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think it'd be a lawsuit, because they make it very clear, like, we own these designs. Like, if you make a concept for an Eeveelution design,
Yeah.
then you're making a concept based off our copyright. We can take that verbatim if we want to. Like there's
This
like
honestly
a little, like,
has never made sense to me.
somewhere about it. I think costs were not monetary. I think they were talking about costs like affecting the game's publicity, because people would claim like Game Freak's literally just taking
Copy.
fan designs anymore.
Yeah.
Sure.
So they're lazy now and stuff like that.
Yeah, potentially. I think a flying type evolution feels so good. We've had these rumors forever. And I want to say, yeah, dude. I mean, it's weird to think that we could have had a flying evolution way back in Generation 7. That's a long time ago. That's a long time ago.
It's also nice too, because there's been this claim that like evolutions follow a set pattern, and that like it's every even gen is when you get a new Eevee design, because you have Gen 2, the Espeon, Umbreon, nothing Gen 3, Gen 4, you have Glaceon, Leafeon, nothing Gen 5, Gen 6, Sylveon, nothing Gen 7, Gen 8, Gmax Eevee. But like this actually confirms like, no, Game Freak doesn't care. Like they in Gen 7 were like, let's do a flying Eevee, and they didn't scrap it because it was an odd number gen, And they didn't scrap it because it was a previously in Generation 3 a physical type, Yes.
They didn't do any of that. Man. They literally just said, "No, we're not going to put it out." But I don't know. I think the prospect of a flying type evolution is really cool, because flying type, again, without all those unsubstantiated patterns, it does. I feel like it is a very elemental Pokemon. We do see a lot of Pokemon getting the flying type. We've done deep dives on the flying type where the type kind of feels a little bit more anatomical, where a lot of Pokemon have the flying type because they have wings. But I do think you can look at the flying type and think about, like, it does feel like an element, wind, is an element. Think about like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
You know, earth, wind, fire.
They could have gone
water.
that route, yeah, for sure, to make it more elemental than like just bird wings.
Even
Yeah.
aside
There's so
from
many
that,
cool
though,
things you can
like,
do with it.
just bird
It's so
wings honestly
majestic.
works for it. The whole idea of Eevee is that it's a Pokemon that's able to adapt to like anything.
Yes.
Mhm.
And we see so much adaptation in the real world to animals that learn to fly, learn to glide, something like that.
Mhm.
And we even see it with Pokemon, being Pokemon
Yep.
like Bagon, you know?
Very Vaporeon kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Where it just like
Yeah,
it
I mean,
gets
this-
bird wings.
Flying's an underrepresented type too. Pure flying is. Pure flying
I was gonna
only
say- I was
exists
about to
in
say, I don't know about
legendary Pokemon or unfully evolved Pokemon. The only
Yeah.
pure flying types are Sylvali form, Arceus form, Tornadus, and then Rookidee and
Rookidee.
Corvisquire. But
Yeah.
they, lose that when they evolve. So it would have been
Mhm.
cool to have a pure flying type that isn't legendary and is, kind of more its own thing.
Beloved in fans' hearts because they love these things so much for
Mhm.
some reason. I think the most interesting things about this is that Game Freak literally cut it because there was a fake mon of it. Like, that's just insane. That means like people that make fake mon, sometimes when you're making them, this is so sad, but you might cause an accidental cutting of the same kind of design. And apparently it was Starboy. Now this is just speculation.
This is speculation.
Yeah, but
Literally my goat, though. I
he
think he makes my favorite stuff.
right. He said that he made this Eeveelution right around the time that this would have been in development, and so he believes that this might be like the one that was too close to their Eeveelution.
Mhm.
I think it was
It's
him.
a
I
beautiful
might be
design.
quoting
My
wrong.
gosh.
But yeah, basically, there's a lot of Eeveelutions, the flying type ones, that have
so
like these
many.
wings on their ears, and I think that's like, so we can get an idea of what Game Freak's flying type Eeveelution would have looked like here.
That's another thing too, is they honestly may not have looked like this, but might have shared one trait with it, and that
Mhm.
one trait was kind of defining. So Game Freak went, I don't know that we can do this. Like, even if it was just like pink eyes with a star in the middle, and they go,
Oh,
everything
so
else
good.
looks completely different, but they're like, but this one trait is so similar that we shouldn't do this.
I'm thinking the same thing along the same lines, but instead it's like this one specifically had the same kind of ear wings
Sure.
that so many of the fake mon Eeveelutions had, that they're like, people are just going to be like, we literally saw a fake mon, like all the Eeveelution fake mons of flying types. And we
I
went with
love that this Eevee evolution's wings, or sorry, its ears fold back and have multiple joints in them, so they fold back like actual bird wings or angel wings. And I think there's so many great things that you can, points of inspiration that you can incorporate into a flying type Eeveelution design. Obviously, you have the anatomical wings of a flying type. You have the cloud motif, but I think what's so great about this design is that the star in its eye also makes me think about comets, right? Shooting stars, right? Something traveling in the stratosphere. Think about Rayquaza. That's a dragon flying type, but a lot of its inspiration has to do with, being above or within the ozone layer, right? As high up as you possibly can be. It's not just the thing can physically fly, but this thing is, it's starbound.
And that kind of works with Sun and Moon too, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, even like aside from the legendaries and Ultra Beasts, like even just, that was kind of seen a lot in Sun and Moon with like some Pokemon like Minior and, the Hokulani Observatory. This is one that I feel like we talked about,
we lost something.
Yeah.
This would literally be the ultimate Eeveelution.
Well,
My
not only
favorite,
that,
at
but
least.
we'll get it. Like, we will get a flying Eeveelution someday. I'm
Wow.
confident that one day
Generation
all the
10.
Eevees will have, their evolution. Like, all the types will have their Eeveelution. I'm confident
so
in that.
not confident of that.
The thing is, though, dude, it might be so far in the future that us
we'll all
three
be dead.
are watching Pokemon from up above,
Listen, this is going to be an old relic.
Just like, whoa.
Dude, if they really want to just pull out all the stops for Generation 10, like a new Eeveelution, that's buzzworthy.
I think we could get a
That's
new
it.
Eeveelution in Gen 10. That's completely off not completely off topic, but somewhat.
Just for word of mouth
Yeah.
to be like, we got a new Eeveelution.
Do I think it will be this one? So there's something about Gen 7 and Gen 10. I'm not going to go into detail because of leaks surrounding Gen 10, but they have similar vibes, and a lot of people think that Gen 10 is going to be a Gen 7 part 2. So
yeah.
And
that's why this is also very relevant to Gen 10. So if there's an Eeveelution in Gen 10, why not go back to this one that you had prepped for Gen 7 in the same kind of region vibe kind of thing? It could be this time. I don't know if we ever see it. I don't know if we ever see all of them like you're saying, Lumi, because at least you're saying a long time, which makes sense.
I'm saying at some point, you know.
Yeah, because if the fans ever take over this company, which I think one day they will, in the sense that people who grew up on this, which it's already kind of happening, grew up on Pokemon, have now grown up and they became artists and game developers and all this stuff, and then they are now in the place to make Pokemon games. I think those are the people that will eventually be like, you know what, we've always wanted to have every Eeveelution with every type. Let's finally do it. And that's 50 years from now. But
especially if they Sylveon was released as, one Pokemon, but if they, do it as two like they have before with Espeon, Umbreon, Glaceon, Leafeon, then, you're getting through them quicker. Like we're thinking, a flying type evolution for Gen 10, but it could be a flying and a steel,
Dude, don't play with me. It could be a dragon.
I know my wife would go nuts over it. Eevee is her favorite Pokemon, and she wants a new Eeveelution more than anything. So
I'd rather the Ultra Beast over this, but
I'm with you.
No, this is great. This is.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know that I'm with you. Either one, I'd be so happy with.
Listen, huge shout out to Start Boy. This is literally my favorite Fakemon artist, or just artist who makes Fakemon. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Also in the Gen 7 Teraleak, there were also some scrapped fossil Pokemon. But first, we're going to hit a commercial break.
Hey, whoa. We got to talk about something really, really important. And that is that there are so many wonderful people out there supporting this show financially. And I want to take a moment to thank you all. Specifically, I want to take a moment to thank all of our mythical tier supporters, Ryan and Foziness, Coronet Highlander, Chris, Adam Gibson, Tyler Low 15, Wild Zenith, Case, Astro Tempest, Normal Guy, Sully the Skeleton, Doom Typhlosion, Hana's Dad, Travis Mashburn, NMT Arts, and the Pokey Kiddo 1. I want to give a special shout out to our Arceus tier supporters, SEH Art Gold, Lethal Randy, and Red, and a Mega Evolved shout out to our Game Freak Inc. level members.
Jeez Louise.
And Bramtastic.
Oh, read it
Young
back.
Smokey and Bramtastic.
Read it back.
Young Smokey and Bramtastic.
I interrupted, so we had to say it 3 times. That's
3 times.
Yeah, that's
Y'all the realist.
It's like swipe or no swiping,
Guys, thank you so much for all the support. We are completely independent here at Hidden Power Incorporated. That's not a real thing. But at Hidden Power at Hidden Power, we are completely independent, and we are funded by you, people just like you listening right now, right? People have listened to us for months on end, for years, and then they go, you know what? I want to support this show. I want to put my money where my ears are at, right? I love this show. I'm invested in this show. I want to invest in this show so I can continue to see Hidden Power publish every single week. People just like you can make such a big difference. $5 a month. Actually, right here on Patreon, you can join for free, actually. Right here on Patreon. You can join for free to get updates, to stay up to date with whatever we got going on. We honestly publish so much stuff throughout the week. One episode every Thursday, regular episode of Hidden Power Podcast. We get a whole episode of Hidden Power Live, HP Live. That comes out pretty much every single week, sometimes twice a week. And when we publish Secret Power, you're going to get notified of when we upload an episode of Secret Power. And so if you want to get access to Secret Power and all of our other perks, $5 on Patreon or on YouTube as a YouTube channel member, you get access to all of our monthly bonus podcasts. You get access to the Discord where we're actually doing a call-in show. I think when you're watching this episode, I I won't timestamp this episode, but we do regular call-in shows where you can call in, you can be on the podcast, you can chop it up with us, talk theories, talk speculation. That's super great. So many other great perks, all available at the $5 legendary tier on Patreon or on YouTube. Links are in the description.
Worth it.
Anything above that, you get bragging rights. We'll say your name on the show, and you get bragging rights. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
apparently we're going to yell it as well. So
oh yeah, we'll yell it. If we'll yell it pretty much anything.
Mess it up, we will yell it at.
Listen, your support directly funds the show and keeps us going every single month. So thank you so much.
Indeed.
And Arceus bless. We'll talk to you soon.
Oh yes.
So we also had some scrapped fossil Pokemon for Generation 7. Again, I think it's worth mentioning just because so many Pokemon fans are, we're all addicted to patterns, and, we had fossils. Actually, you know what? I feel like there really were new fossil Pokemon in almost every single generation other than Generation 2 at this point in Generation 7. We also didn't get fossils in Generation 7. So there's actually a lot of fossils. I was going to say kind of, depending on whatever generation we were on. But
it makes sense too that like we didn't have them in Alola because like Hawaii's not really known for its dinosaurs.
Sure.
Which is kind of funny because that's where Jurassic Park was filmed.
Yeah, but there's stuff everywhere,
Yeah.
Well, but there's like a reference to Jurassic Park in Alola. There's like this guy who says he like wants to make a like theme park for where fossil Pokemon can roam around. So, it kind of makes sense that they would have had fossil Pokemon. Like, I always thought that felt super out of place, that little area. It's like just a guy living in his trailer in Sun and Moon who says that. It's so weird. But,
I do remember that. I remember that guy.
Akal Island, yeah.
Go ahead. I think it would have been really cool if we got an Ultra Beast that was made up of, like, bones, almost as if it was a fossil.
We did. It's called Eternatus.
Damn, that's true. And you know what? We also got that in Generation 8, and it's called Carolys's abominations. It's the Gen 8 fossils.
Carolys's freaks of nature.
Yeah. They should just bring her back. Bring her back.
Yes, they should.
So in Generation 7, there were scrapped fossils. Alola was originally planned to feature fossil Pokemon as version exclusives. One of these fossils would have had a rock and water typing, while the other's secondary typing was undecided. Both Pokemon were intended to be standalone with no evolutionary stages.
Now you're ready for the reveal.
I wonder if so again, I think Saul brought it up earlier. It is fair to maybe interpret some of this stuff because where it says both, like this is like what we're reading from Pokeeos, they did a great job, but this is an interpretation of maybe some of the source material, which is also an interpretation of maybe some of the Japanese. Recap. So like both Pokemon were intended to be standalone as a statement with no evolutionary stages as a statement. That actually instead what it could be is that they had only planned the base idea of what the fossil would be based on and maybe didn't get far enough into development where it could have where each of them could have evolutions. It is true that they could be standalone, like the Gen 8 fossils or like Aerodactyl. Like that is true. We just I wouldn't jump the gun on that.
Yeah, it very well could have been. They planned one stage, but that didn't mean that they planned for it to be one stage.
Exactly.
But the interesting thing that they're missing about these fossils is that so it at some point a little bit more came out about these fossils, and one was described, probably the rock water one, as a whalmer that lived on land.
Wow.
And the other was described as a salamence that never learned to fly.
Oh my!
Are you sure that those are the two that are connected? Because I know about those two, right? But
I thought they were I had always
separate.
heard that they were the fossil Pokemon.
See this is what I was talking about. Is that like there's nowhere to ever know these kinds of things unless you have a screenshot of exactly what leaked.
Right.
To me, what I had heard, what I had understood is that those were separate from these. Like these are separate. These are fossils that were like this, and then there was like a form of Whalmer that went up on the ground, and the form of salamence, whatever you had said before.
See, I had heard that like the forms were always supposed to be Gym 1 and that these were the fossils, and that's kind of like it also does make sense from like a standpoint of you figure a rock water that makes sense for Whalmer, but also to like early whales, like the early ancestor of whales were these creatures that lived on land.
Right.
And it makes sense that salamence probably at some point didn't fly. But the big takeaway from this is that we do in Generation 9 get a Pokemon called Citadel, and it evolves into a Pokemon called Cetitan, and it is a land whale, and its Pokedex entry even says that it is closely related to Whalmer. So they make that connection that very clearly like tells you Citadel and Cetitan are this Pokemon that would have been connected to Whalmer and would have been a Whalmer that could walk on land. And then a little bit less concrete, but in the same generation as Citadel and Cetitan, you do have Roaring Moon, which is not a salamence that can't fly. This Pokemon's very capable of flying, but we do see it grounded more, and it's always not flying
around.
type.
Yeah.
So
true. It could have been.
I love that Lumi.
It could have been this guy, and he just didn't have the wings. Like if you if you picture it without the wings, it could have just been like a lizard salamence on the ground.
Interesting. And you know what? That's really cool because like the point, like I do think fossil Pokemon, what they did for me in Generation 1, like in those early generations, is that they really expanded right from the get-go, right? There's 150 plus Pokemon, right? But in Generation 1, there's all these teases and hints and suggestions that there might be other Pokemon that we need to discover. I mean, literally during the anime, Togepi's right there. Then you also have the fossil Pokemon, right? There, which suggests that there were different Pokemon on the planet way back in the day. Where did those go? You could assume there's even more beyond those, beyond Ammonite and Kabuto. And I could see the idea in Generation 7, fossil Pokemon existing, in almost being a hint. I mean, I think what Lumi's saying is that they eventually became Paradox Pokemon in Generation 9. But like, I could see it where we get a set of fossil Pokemon that look like other Pokemon that we know about,
Sounds like a certain type of Pokemon that look like other Pokemon,
Paradox Pokemon, exactly. Yeah, it's the earlier version.
I was thinking about the regional fakes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which but if they're fossil,
but if they're fossil Pokemon, the implication is that, this is what this Pokemon used to look like back in the day before it evolved into what we currently know it as.
Sure, and that works with the Salamence one because it was reworked into a Paradox Pokemon.
I think even Citadel.
I mean, that's not a Paradox Pokemon though. That's a
no
new standalone Pokemon.
I agree. I think, but what I'm saying is if Whalmer, if the fossil Pokemon in Gen 7 looked like an ancient whale, it's the same concept, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's just crazy. Like, if you look at everything that's in this, like we're just covering the Pokemon today, but everything in this Gen 7 cut content, it's like Game Freak had like a brain blast of just like, and they're just like
Jimmy Neutron
they're putting like everything from Gen 7 has been filling the rest of the generations as we've gone along, because they had like every great idea here. And
it's this was their ultimate Pokemon game, and they've gradually been trying to reach it,
Yes, because they had so many ideas. Like, there's no way that they could have ever created all of this, to be honest, unless they took like 10 years to make it. But yeah, I agree with you, Lumi. Like, I think that those were reworked. I also want to say one more thing with all of the beta stuff that we've seen in the past. I've seen it where they're split. Like there's like a beta Pokemon concept and they split them into like multiple other Pokemon that become official. One that I'm trying to remember right now is the rabbit from Gen 3, the like Bunnelby. It came from that, but also Pachirisu might have come from that. It's got the same kind of Pachirisu colors, and the thing around its waist was like could have been its tail, that if you unraveled it could be
I think about things like that. I think to me that looks like Floatzel.
That's another one. Floatzel, exactly. Wow. So because Floatzel is a literal floating device, so you instantly have everyone looks like, you look at Diggersby, and Diggersby is that rabbit's evolution, like no doubt. If you look at Diggersby and the Gen 3 starter rabbit, they're connected.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
Then you think, but wait, what about the floating aspect of, or like the floating device aspect about this beta Pokemon? Well, they put it into Floatzel's design. So like they split them up. So it's not that we couldn't never see this again either. Like that's the whole thing with the Roaring Moon concept. It's like they could have used that concept for Roaring Moon, but then one day they could make a regional Salamence that is just like on the ground.
That's awesome.
They also will even like do the opposite of that too, where sometimes they'll merge designs. Where like we heard about, there was a snail line that was supposed to exist in Gym 5 that was not connected to Carablast, but then they ended up kind of merging that with Shelmet to create Shelmet. You know, so you know, it could have also even been like maybe at some point in development they might have taken this Wailmer concept and this fossil concept and threw them together.
I think the idea is that when these creators sit down to make Pokemon, I think it's a normal practice for really any creative field to put the ideas down, to think about what your purpose is, what you're trying to accomplish, take what you like, fit it into what it needs to be. You know, some things get lost, some things get added, some things evolve differently. I think this is just the creative process. And what's exciting is to see behind the scenes of what could have been, but also what can still be in the future. I think this is, you know, it's nice to I don't know. I get a lot of enjoyment out of looking at these Pokemon.
100%.
Because the idea is still great. We could still see, like, they got so experimental with fossil Pokemon in Generation 8. I could definitely see. And I think the only reason why we didn't get fossil Pokemon in Generation 9 is because we had the Paradox Pokemon, which were literally prehistoric Pokemon.
And even like a lot of their Pokemon in Gen 9 kind of like just base Pokemon, not paradoxes, represented like past and future. I do wonder, because it mentions here Jurassic Park, and you know, it does say that like they know these fossils exist because of like something on the map, the beta map or whatever. So it seems like they were going to go through with like this Jurassic Park area that was teased on Akal Island, Sun and Moon. And that also kind of makes the Wailmer Salamence idea work for the fossil Pokemon, because if they're basing this off Jurassic Park, one thing they did in that movie was to revive these dinosaurs, they like use DNA from like, you know, Pokemon that exist or animals that exist.
Oh, that's so cool, you know? Lumi. That is so. I didn't even think of it that aspect. I was thinking, oh, this is just a resurrection of something that is related to something. But you're saying like in order to resurrect it, you need the DNA of, you know, a
That's
Pokemon within the Alola region.
Park, right? Like they fill the gaps.
That's
of
how
the
they
DNA
do it. That's what they do in real life.
Yeah. So, you know, maybe that could have been something too, is like
oh, that's so cool.
Even just like an explainer of like, because we don't know much about the fossil restoration process, right? Like we hand it to a scientist. He says, okay, now leave the room. And you leave the room and you come back in. He's like, here's your Pokemon.
Leave the room.
Yeah. This could have given us like a bit of an explanation where like he kind of adds like, yeah, well, since these fossil Pokemon are ancestors to Wailmer and Salamence, we actually can just use DNA from a modern day Wailord and a modern day Salamence to revive them. You know,
I feel like the Sun and Moon games are obsessed with like the biology of the Pokemon world, you know,
and I love
how different Pokemon function in different habitats. And you know, that's so cool. That honestly is so cool to think. I could see that. I could see us getting new fossil Pokemon with another little twist. Like the Gen 8 fossils felt so out of place, but I would love to see new little weird gimmicks to make the fossil Pokemon more interesting. We're just going on a tangent, but even the Pokemon Company just put out this new image. I don't have it up here, but like where they're talking about fossil Pokemon, prehistoric Pokemon, in alongside all of the fossils, they include Relicanth, which is not technically a fossil. They include Yanmega, which is not even, you know, that old. It's a modern Pokemon, but it evolves with ancient power, right? Mamoswine is included in that. So to think, I don't know. That's really cool. That's really cool. I'd love to see more
fossil
of this in the future
Pokemon
with fossils.
are. It's funny. You know, we've talked with our good friend Lord Keeper Toby a lot, and he always says that like shadow Pokemon are this thing that he always goes back to and just has like this super big interest in the Pokemon franchise. Yeah. Fossil Pokemon is that. Fossil Pokemon is my Roman Empire.
Love it, dude. That's awesome.
Speaking of which, we're about to get a fossil Pokemon museum here in the States, which is
no way.
Yeah, and I think 2026, the Chicago Museum is going to do the the Japan fossil exhibit that they have
Oh.
in the museum over there. They're doing it in Chicago.
Pretty epic.
That's great. We got to record a podcast there.
Do not.
All right, let's start getting into some of these beta Pokemon. We gotta pick up the speed a little bit. We're having a lot of fun. We got Beta Komala. The idea of a Pokemon koala has been thought about for a long time, and we already knew about it from the old leaks of the Gold and Silver beta some time ago. Now we see more beta koala sketches.
He's back.
Yeah,
it
so
looks
this
like
is
he came back in Gym 4.
Yeah, so in Generation 2, there was a scrapped koala Pokemon. It's literally a koala, big ears, holding a tree. It's got the, what is it called? The eucalyptus.
But has holes in his ears, just so you know. Like, those aren't...
Oh, yeah, I see
through. They're rings. Which
that's
I think
kind of fun. That makes it look more like a Pokemon.
Yeah, in the newer one, I think it's not rings anymore. They filled it in.
Yeah, it's not
so
just
this is
koala.
the beta sprite.
Mm-hmm.
We
That's
got
the
a
Gen 2 one.
We got a sketch here. I'm assuming this is Gen 4 era, so you have a
Right.
sketch of Dawn
Looks like it.
Yeah.
and this little Komala looking guy.
He's holding the trunk still, but
The
he's just
log
dragging
or
it
whatever.
wrong.
Well, you
along.
see it becoming Komala too. Like it starts with like it's a branch, then like
Yeah.
he starts trudging it along, and eventually it's a log. It's not like a branch anymore. He's holding on to. It's a log he carries. You know.
Yeah.
We got another little koala Pokemon. It's just so cool to see all the different iterations these Pokemon go through. This version of Komala does not have its log, and it
He's
doesn't
awake.
even have that weird little sleeping,
He's awake.
signature ability.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
awake. He's just like...
Sol, do you have any additional resources in these images that you sent me?
For the koala, no, I think that's it for the koala. This is the
Okay.
entire dex, that one. But yeah, there's koalas. That's just that little.
What do you
guy.
guys think about this little beta Komala?
I mean, I'm gonna be okay. I have
I like the Gen 2
zero
one
hate
more.
to Komala,
Yeah,
but it is one of those Pokemon where it's like it's a koala, and I love koalas, so I'm fine with it. But it's not like a Pokemon that I think like they could have done more with it.
I think.
You know?
Yeah, I think they were thinking we just need a little guy. I don't know. It's like there's some Pokemon that are kind of iconic. Flamingo, toucan, koala. Just make it a Pokemon version of it. I think that's totally fine. And then in the future, then they can make a version of a koala that's a little bit weirder, right?
It
I
is
think
funny that they had to do the koala though, and they're like not even in Australia. They're like, okay, we're doing a region
Yeah, that's
in
true.
the the Kansai region of Japan with Johto. Let's do a koala. Then later they're like, oh, we didn't do it, but we're in Hokkaido now. Time for that koala. No,
Yeah.
we're in Hawaii now, which means we got to get that koala.
It's the closest where we're gonna get to Australia from here. Like I don't know. I think that it's just like what Dusty was saying is that it's such an iconic animal that it just was like this will be good as a Pokemon even in
It took 'em
Generation 2.
26 years to do a dolphin.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I don't know. I got to give some respect to Komala here. It does have a very it has a signature ability, but also just like what's a word other than like ability? Because like mechanically, it has a signature ability where it is basically always asleep, so it cannot be statused. But like, I don't know. That's like, what is that? Like a gimmick? I feel like it's got
an ability. I mean, it's
an ability, but also like it extends into the design itself, where like the koala Pokemon is not just always sleeping. It's I don't know. I guess the character trait, and it's a character trait reinforced by an ability. This is concept art of this Pokemon, like modern concept art of Komala. It's always sleeping, but it spins around with that log that it always hold. The log is kind of like, it's like it functions. It's an analog for a pillow. If you're always sleeping, right, you need a pillow.
It kind of does
blanket.
look like a little plush log.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. And the whole theory behind, I guess my point is, I think they did add some things to this Pokemon to justify its existence.
For sure.
Right? It has something unique. There's a lot of Pokemon that exist where I'm like, this does not need to exist. This just feels irrelevant, right? It's like,
No, yeah, I don't hate this.
Komala
by
has
any
a specific
means.
identity.
Yeah, I like it. I want to evolve and get a little something more to make it stand out. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like it. It's cute.
But
and I guess it's just cool to see like how this was conceptualized as far back as Gold and Silver, which I think a lot of Pokemon conceptualized in Gold and Silver were maybe actually thought about in Generation 1. You know, they're so close together. Which is wild to think, but they sat on the design because they're like, well, what does this thing need to make it actually a Pokemon, to make it good enough to be a Pokemon, right? Everyone's calling Game Freak lazy, but like they sat on this design until it was actually something, you know? So that's cool. We got Beta Kamala. Before I move on, we have there's Scrapped Alolan regional forms. There's some more beta Pokemon. But Soul, you sent me all these designs. Can you help me make sense of these collages?
Hold on, don't mean to cut you off there. And you, the listener, I don't mean to interrupt your video, but if you're enjoying this episode, I have some really important news for you. Come a little closer. You're missing out on so much hidden power content. That's right, we actually have a secret show. The three of us, me, Dusty, and Soul, have a secret show called Secret Power. It's so aptly named, where we talk about more Pokemon and also just stuff going on in our lives, stuff that we have interest in outside of Pokemon, like Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, those kinds of things. All of this exists with over 48 hours of content, and you can access it. How do you access it, you might be asking? Just by becoming a channel member or a patron, which you can do for as little as $5 a month. We do have other tiers that can give you some other perks, but for as little as $5 a month, you will get access to Secret Power, our show, with, again, over 48 whole hours. That's 2 whole days, no sleeping, no eating, no pausing the video. There's so much. You can see the full details of the perks by clicking the links. Check it out. I'm telling you, there's so much hidden power content that you're missing out on, and I just don't want you to miss out on it. I'm doing you a solid, man. But yeah, I'll let you go back to your episode now. Again, check out the members or patrons page to get access to Secret Power.
These are all Gen 7 cut Pokemon. But help me understand this.
Each one is a Pokemon, essentially. So like
read
this
the purple box.
All right,
like blue, right?
Okay, Bruxish pre-evolution.
So
okay,
these are all taken from this giant like list of the Pokedex. So you can see it right there in like the little box where it says Wishy-Washy, then Bruxish pre-evolution. So this is the whole list, but this is like a cut part of it where it says Bruxish pre-evolution, then Bruxish. So yeah, that's where you can see it, and it's just
so this is it's a planning. So this document is a planning document straight from Game Freak. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, I thought someone made this based on the information, but this is literally translations of a planning document. Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
because there's even descriptions of the Pokemon.
There's like, also that Ultra Beast.
Decidueye is described as an assassin owl with photosynthetic hood. Oh, now that's so cool.
This is all translated as well from, machine.
Oh my gosh, did we finally get appreciation for Decidueye from Dusty?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Did that just happen?
I think Robin Hood's a little dorky, but Assassin?
Robin Hood. Put some respect on his name.
Robin Hood. Okay, so we had a Bruxish pre-evolution. I'm sure that was probably cut because it just kind of seemed a little irrelevant. Yeah, I think Bruxish works totally fine as a standalone Pokemon. It's a fish. It does have a unique identity. It's pretty ugly on purpose. It has an inspiration. I forget what I'm not even going to attempt what.
I believe
don't attempt it.
Head.
No, I thought it was like it's right here. Humu. Someone's going to leave a comment. Humu Nuku Apua.
You know what? You're right, because that's the Hawaiian
it's a triggerfish.
State fish, yeah.
It's that one, people say it fast and it sounds really funny.
Yeah.
So that's what Bruxish is based on.
I saw one of those in the keys. They're weird.
And it was supposed to have a scrapped pre-evolution, and they just kind of got rid of it, which I don't think anyone's upset about, but it's cool. It's just, that's cool.
I'm upset.
Okay, noted.
Not really.
Yeah.
It functions as a standalone Pokemon, water psychic. Like if it had a pre-evolution, what would it have been? Just water? Boring.
Yeah, that's what they're saying right here. It's like, is it just water? We don't know. It didn't say anything.
We lost something today. All right. Emotaro, the potato root vegetable. Crazy.
Yes.
We lost a Pokemon
That's
based on a
what you
potato
did.
root vegetable.
That's Dusty's favorite here. I
Another-
want the Ultra
another
Beast.
food
Dusty wants
Pokemon.
the
Never change.
potato.
So Emo means potato or Imo, and then Taro is the root vegetable. Taro means big boy or eldest son. Okay, so there's a little bit of a human personification there with the little fruit flavor, fruit Pokemon.
Big
It says
boy.
the flavor is mild, creamy, slightly sweet with a hint of nuttiness. Has a roughly textured, earthly brown skin with fibrous hairs, similar to the texture of a coconut. This
I don't.
let's see.
This is like just the person who made this explaining this. I don't think that those are actually things that came from that. I'm almost thinking that this. You could look it up on the bigger image to see what its description is. But I almost think that this might have become Pecharunt. It is a little Taro.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. The
Huh.
name literally
Little
itself.
Momotaro.
Yeah, that could make sense.
I'd have to look at the actual image here. I'm gonna look at
That
it.
could make
Yeah,
sense.
which makes you wonder if maybe this originally could have been Ghost type, and then it might have been split up into Marshadow and later on Pecharunt or something.
See, I'm just looking at it as a counterpart to the Steenie line, which is you got
that definitely could have
instead
been.
of a big boy
Mm.
potato, you got a a big girl, whatever what
What's that fruit
the,
called?
the Steen is it? It's not called Steenie, is
Mangosteen.
it? Mangosteen.
Mangosteen. There you go. Yeah.
You just got this like fruit and potato. I don't know. That makes sense.
Sure.
More
Yeah.
masculine to the feminine plant.
I like it.
that's
I see
where my mind went.
I mean, it could have been even the before Steenie. Like it could have been this was it before, and they completely scrapped
that's
this
true.
and went with the Mangosteen instead.
Yeah, bro,
that
we need
also-
a potato Pokemon. We need a potato Pokemon.
Also, right there in
Leave
that
a comment if you want a potato Pokemon. French fries.
French fry Pokemon. In that little the image there, that section, you'll see that Cosmog had 2 forms as well. It's like right under there.
Yeah, I was gonna read that next. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
weird
it
because
says-
it shouldn't be part of that section, but there it is. I don't know if they were trying to connect it to this potato, but
Let's see. So there's 2 spots for Cosmog. Legendary Pokemon version B, Legendary Pokemon version A. The young one is a little creepy. So, yeah, I guess it makes sense to have 2 different versions of Cosmog. You have Cosmoem, which is like the pupa state, right? It's a just kind of like it's like a defensive. It's the cocoon state of this evolutionary line. That would have been kind of interesting to see 2 different forms of a Pokemon evolve into the same form of a Pokemon to evolve into 2 separate Pokemon.
Mhm.
That would have been even more bizarre than what
That
we
would've
already
been
got
cool.
with Cosmog. And I bet they were kind of split, or rather combined. Cosmog was probably combined into a singular design. I think it's just cleaner. And then also the truth is they probably just did that so they didn't have to create
Yeah.
separate cutscenes for each version of the game.
True.
But I think it's also a lot cleaner, and it serves as kind of a surprise, right? Everyone gets attached to the same legendary little baby, which then evolves into something unique depending on the version of your game. I think it's just a little bit cleaner, but that's interesting to think that there was originally a new version of Cosmog. It could have been very slight. It could have been like a color change.
it
right?
could have literally been like they just made 2 versions of the same exact Pokemon. It was just so that they evolved into Solgaleo or
Oh,
Lunala.
that's true too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like coded as 2 different things, even though it's not.
Yeah,
Oh,
Um,
sure. That
it
makes
might
sense.
not be an actual form, but
I
we
think
don't
it's interesting that with Lunala, they were still working on the design at this point, and they go, "Oh, it could be a peacock or it could be a rabbit." You see it right
Yeah.
there with the Cosmog. If you
Yeah.
look down,
Yep.
That's
If you
kinda
look at the
interesting.
bigger image, which I just looked at it a bit while we were chatting, and it's like
What image?
the one that has the whole
Pokedex,
dex,
the full dex.
which I read a lot of it, and it isn't the full dex. There's actually a lot missing, but the descriptions are insane. Like we could spend probably an hour just reading each description, and being
Honestly, it
like,
would be kind of
wow.
a fun live
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to mention it. Then there's the
No,
butterfly
it's
down
cool.
below it.
Yep, we got a butterfly Pokemon. This is interesting. Okay, butterfly Pokemon. All right, A02 is the code name. Bright Cave, Bug 2, Evolution 0, Stag Beetle, and then Bug 2, Evolution 0, Butterfly. Explain this to me. Are these separate Pokemon or are these in the same line?
I think it's the same. The way he's putting it is they're the same line, but then they have a split evolution.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, at the pupa
metamorphosis.
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like this person's even suggesting they might have been undecided on what the line would have been, but they just knew we want to do a bug line. It's either going to be a butterfly or a stag beetle.
Yeah. That
Would you call what we got Vikavolt? Is that a stag beetle?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not super familiar with my beetles, but according to Bulbapedia, it is based on a stag beetle and a railgun. So
yeah,
sure. Yeah, I guess you got the stag beetle, but it does have wings, so maybe there's a version of this where it's.
I think that this was pointing out that we lost the butterfly, like instead of the stag beetle, which
that
is
makes
what
sense
we got.
to me.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That's cool. That's cool. And then there's some more down here: post clear, ruin, semi-legendary, psychic type.
We totally need a new butterfly, right?
I'm trying to make this a little bit bigger, just so I can see
this
it all.
would have been. You have to think too for context, like. Releasing a new butterfly Pokemon right now wouldn't be so offensive, but this would have been released right after Vivian. So
yeah,
it would have been
like
a little like
another.
You just
butterfly.
gave us one with like 50 forms, and now you're giving us another butterfly.
See, that could have been why they maybe scrapped it.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
That would not be that crazy.
Poor Soul, they scrapped a lot of bugs from this game.
I know.
We also have this beta wishy-washy. It's a beta version of the school form. I think conceptually it's pretty much the same design. It's just a different layout, and it's not a final design.
I kind of like this more. I don't like it. Like Wishy-Washy's got like a big. It looks like a whale, like proper. It's very circular and defined, and this is like less defined, so it feels like more like the fish are a school to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like they definitely tightened it up a little bit just to make it more clear. Just so it has like a more obvious silhouette. But yeah, for listeners, you can just kind of see more wishy-washy kind of sticking out of it. I do like the white on it.
Yeah.
And there's more of a gradient. Like the head of this wishy-washy is like a lighter blue. And then there's all these different, there's about 4 steps until you get to this like really dark navy blue at the tail.
There's another one underneath it, an earlier version.
Yeah. And then you get an early version of the base wishy-washy, which truly looks like a sardine. And, you know, I'm kind of getting that from the giant list of, like the planning Pokedex, where they literally call they call wishy-washy a sardine, and then there's another schooling form of wishy-washy where it looks like a wave, and I think conceptually,
like even
I think conceptually, like it's cool to see a Pokemon that, or to see this Pokemon look more like a wave, like a crashing wave, which is so powerful in itself, and it's makes it less of just like a, you know, a school of fish.
I love seeing these. I mean, it's great to like see. Instead of just the
school forms base stats are higher than a pseudo legendaries.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Oh yeah,
it's really powerful.
It's one of those sleepers. It became one of my favorites later on. In
140 attack, 140 special attack, and 130 defense, and 135 special defense. That is yikes,
beefy. I think I'm happy with the final wishy-washy design.
Me too.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I think it's just a cleaner design overall, but it is cool to see these different stages.
And there's no shot you cannot appreciate this Pokemon.
Yeah. We also got, and this is like Soul, tell me, are there any other?
Oh yeah, there's a ton more here. I don't know if you want to do the regional forms first.
No, I want to do more of the scrapped beta Pokemon.
If you go over one on the arrow there. Yep.
Oh, there's more images.
So we have this, and then there's the Ultra Beast that we were talking about earlier. Was like a jellyfish, apparently. Because in the description it describes it a bit more.
Wow. Okay. We should have read this earlier.
Is that not
I didn't realize it was here. Yeah, see, that's what
from it.
That's what we're saying, right? Is like we don't really understand what that thing was. Let me look at it myself here because it's too far away for me to read.
This is cool. So apparently Ultra Beasts were called Rainbow Beasts initially. Wow, that's cool.
Bro, when you get into the lore and the stuff that was cut from this game, it's insane. Like the whole Rainbow Rocket, all that was like meant to be in the main game. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But so it wasn't a jellyfish. I was just looking at that image. It actually says parallel purple beast octopus form. It has octopus form number 1, which was replaced by Celesteela eventually. But yeah.
Oh, so the code of that was replaced by Celesteela in the
Oh,
in the
that
final
makes
game.
sense too,
Mhm.
because in Pokemon Home, Celesteela is like coded to have like an alternate form that was scrapped.
Yeah. So people think that this is a Celesteela form, which is
Mhm.
possible, but it's a parallel beast purple octopus form 2. So there's stuff going on there that we don't know. It would be crazy if Celesteela had I mean, there's been so many suggestions that it had an alternate form, or that has been thought of to have an alternate
Damn.
form.
So these are all suggestions basically found from the concept Excel sheet. Dude, we really should sit and like read through all the different concept
Yeah, we should.
sheets. That's pretty weird. Maybe we might do that on
Oh,
Twitch.
I just realized that they were doing with the pseudonym. They were doing red, yellow, blue, green, purple, indigo, and I guess orange. So I'm like, it's the
That's
rainbow.
cool.
Huh.
That's cool.
The Rainbow Beast.
The
Kinda cool.
Rainbow Beast is such a cool name. Oh, yeah, we got some more stuff here. Let me just pull this up. I'm going to zoom and I'm going to enhance.
We lost.
We lost a chicken Pokemon. It's I'm just reading this. Hawaii's most common species of chicken, the red jungle fowl rooster. So maybe it was based on that.
Yeah, this is just like
this would have been just a
interjection
normal
from the-
type Pokemon, and it would have had 2 stages potentially.
Yeah.
They also were saying like maybe what's his name, Alima, the normal type, not gym leader. What are they called?
It said in his description, man, what are they called?
Trial
Captains.
captains?
Yeah, not the Kahuna.
It said in his description from the Teraleak that his ace was supposed to be chicken too.
Nice. So go ahead. That's how we know those 2 stages.
It was a very popular saying when this was all happening, and it was that we were robbed. So, we were a little bit robbed here of all this stuff.
Chicken Chan could have been real.
Yeah, seriously. This
I was
talk was
looking-
about defining animation sets for Mons, or at least planning what they will have. Its model and animation consideration. That might mean the chicken, sea slugs, and pre-evolution lineups had final concept art. Wow. That we just don't have access to that.
Yeah, we don't have
art.
it. It wasn't in the leak, so it's there somewhere. But
we also have this
Yeah.
Mene Hune Pokemon, which is apparently sea slug, is what that
Mhm.
means. Assuming this is Japanese.
But it's also like a mythical creature in Hawaii, the Minahane.
Oh, cool.
So it could have been like a merge of a sea slug
this is where
and
we were
like
robbed.
this actual like thing. Like they're kind of like I think they're like pranksters too. So they're similar to like, I don't know, imps, I guess, for like to put it in our,
like a troll or something.
you know, our minds to understand it. It'd be similar to like an imp or a troll.
Okay.
That was a sea slug. I love this.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you would merge the two, that's kind of wild.
I could see them being really hunched over. Actually, you know what's crazy? That actually reminds me of, what is it, a Gen 3 beta Pokemon, or is it a Gen 5?
I mean, it reminds you of Gastrodon, probably. No?
No,
Oh, you're
there's
talking
a
about beta.
Hold on. Sea Slug beta Pokemon. This guy right
Oh
here.
yeah,
The beta
yeah.
snail Pokemon. Let's
that
see.
was Gen
someone-
5.
That's new. I haven't seen that.
Who made this? This is art by Nintendo Patry. So the sprites are down here.
Yeah.
But this is like, they made new versions of these Pokemon. I think these were originally
We
going to
were
be
robbed.
like the Swampert line.
No, this
So robbed.
was
This
Gen
was original.
5.
Oh, it was Gen 5.
Remember
This
how
was
I
a-
mentioned before that there was like a slug Pokemon plan or snail Pokemon plan for Gen 5 that
Yeah.
later got merged into Shelmet to tie to the
Yes.
West line. This was the original snail line.
I mean, I think this
Wow.
eventually became the Gastrodon, or not Gastrodon.
No, this was Gen
Goodra.
5.
No,
Yeah, so it could have become Goodra, sure.
Goodra's line, I think.
I could see
ultimately.
that.
I think
I
they
could
brought
see
it
that.
back when they made Hisuian Goodra.
Mm.
But
But what's cool is
Uh-oh.
that, like, I mean, these were pretty fleshed out. We have like final sprites. They were scrapped, and to be honest, they have armor like
Mm-hmm.
you know, like a fantasy race. You know,
yeah, it's so genius. He has a little helmet.
it's a
then he
group.
has
Of, you know,
the
yeah, it's like a group
a
of people.
shield.
That's awesome, dude.
yeah.
This is really cool.
Okay,
Um,
so
like,
the
actually
Minahane were not supposed to. They were not mischievous, but they were like they built things and were like excellent craftspeople. And that could maybe work into like the psychic typing with like how psychic's often connected to like extraterrestrial in Pokemon, and there's
Yeah.
like all those theories about like the aliens built the pyramids or helped us build the pyramids and all this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, down below it says they were a mythological race of dwarf people in Hawaiian tradition. I could totally see this coming back for Gen 10. I'm just saying. This is like very island vibes. Also, you guys were talking about the Chan stuff. The nicknames for them. If you look right in the red, right there, you see
says,
it.
The sea. So there's two. Apparently, there's like there's like gender variants. You have sea slug male is blue kun, and then you have sea slug female is pink Chan. So
there you
a
go.
little bit of a tie back there.
Pink Chan.
I wonder if this was also reworked into Tapu Lele a little bit because it is psychic type and it's got some kind of sea slug inspo.
I'm thinking about
butterfly, bro. It's a butterfly.
I'm thinking
It's
about a
butterfly
little
too, sure, but
type.
there's some sea slug in there.
I'm thinking about Tinkaton. That's what this reminds me of the most, to be honest with you.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense. Like craftsmen and everything too.
Yeah.
Well, it's
like
what
little
we said,
Keebler
like,
elves.
It could have been something that was like picked apart and they worked it into different things, and they might still work it into some more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that's really cool. Oh, that's so cool. That makes me want this to be real,
especially in Gen 10, because you figure, like, so you proposed the question at the beginning of this of like, would they continue to do like these Pokemon? Would they take these Pokemon since they've all been leaked? But like with Gen 10, probably at the point this was leaked, a lot of these Pokemon were kind of already conceptually decided on.
Yeah.
So we really might see a lot of these in Gen 10. And maybe Gen 11, they might be like, all right, we can't take from our beta Pokemon as much anymore, maybe. But Gen 10, I would say it's still very much on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We also have
a Turtonator. Yeah.
We also have a Turtonator pre-evolution. Mata are a species of freshwater turtles. I'm fine with them making this single stage, but apparently there was a previous form.
A lot of people would probably like it, but
it would be nice. But it's fine. It's fine to just make it a single stage. I think what happens is like
at one point.
Is it 3 stages? Because that
no, just 2 stages. Just 2 stages.
Right.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I gotta look on the thing.
Because it says Matamata 1, Matamata 2, and then Turtonator. So it's like it's implying that it had 2 stages below it, but I'm not sure.
I'm not seeing that anywhere else. It also shows Turtonator and its codename is Matamata.
Oh no, I looked on the bigger image and it is 3. It's a 3-stage line.
Wow.
So 2 pre-evolution.
Are we sure about
Turtonator.
that?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
On the image. So
Matamata 1, Matamata 2, Matamata 3.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess it could have been a bro. I mean, this would
that would have been awesome.
If Turtonator is a pseudo legendary, I mean, I don't think the design could have been changed too much. I think its design is fine, but it would be cool to have a fire dragon pseudo legendary. That's great.
It is kind of like as popular as one in a sense, like not with the fans, but like the Pokemon Company pushed Turtonator a lot. Like in the anime, he was like really popular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fire dragon pseudo is crazy. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if it just had that level of power, oh, so cool.
It being a fire dragon in itself, like it's pretty exclusive because like the only other
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
it's like
Mega Charizard X and Reshiram, you know,
it's fire dragon.
It's Reshiram and not Charizard. Like that's great.
By the way, it's so weird that like that's a type that we don't have a lot of because like typically when you see dragons, you see like a fire breathing dragon, and so it's funny
even
that like those 2 types are so tied together, but also there's the only representation we have of one is a turtle.
Sure.
There's one more slide on here, Dusty, that had a lizard that we missed, I think. Just if you go over.
Let's see. Yeah, the basilisk lizard. So I think this would have been a stage before. No, separate. This is a totally new Pokemon.
Right. And they cut it, I think, because Salandit and Salazzle existed at the time already. So they were like, we don't need more lizards.
Redundant. Yeah.
Yeah. What's crazy about this is we were talking about Gen 9, but Inteleon is a basilisk lizard. So I think that this could have been cut. It was grass, and they just were like, let's make it water. And then,
what's nuts is even Salazzle feels like I think it's a basilisk as well.
Heliolisk is as well.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Heliolisk definitely is. It's got the frill thing that it does, and then
also
Heliolisk
is like
surf.
Heliolisk is the one that's like in Australia with the big frill.
Yeah, that's
like
a basilisk.
No, look it up.
pretty
It's
sure.
not. This right here in the image, you see the basilisk running on the water? That's what a basilisk lizard is.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks pretty similar to the Salazzle.
I'd say Salazzle is more like salamander, but like a lizard, like a skink almost. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that
But-
is
but
a
it's
different thing, the frilled lizard. But see, they gave it surf too, which makes me think like
Yeah.
there was some basilisk
Totally
inspiration
agree with
in
you, Lumi.
Heliolisk.
So
Yeah.
where are we getting this grass typing? Apparently, this basilisk lizard was supposed to have a grass typing, which
Yeah,
is
it was
kind of
just
cool.
it was in the decks as a lizard, and they cut it.
So did it have a grass type?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
It was
So
also
let's see.
supposed to be a
Before
floating
evolution,
plant.
yeah, bro, that would have been cool. Like a lily pad or something.
Hmm.
That would have been cool. Before evolution, the character is characterized by being able to walk on water, but that has disappeared. When placed on grass, that characteristic is lost. Since it resembles a fire poison Pokemon in shape, it is necessary to consider it as a counterpart and proceed as is. It'll be treated as on hold until a decision can be made on whether to adopt it as a counterpart. I'm assuming this is a translation from the decks.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
it was
confused by
like
this.
version exclusive to Salamandra
has-
and Salazzle at one point.
Yeah. So it was related to them in some way, or was going to be, and then they just cut it. It's interesting that it has water parts again. Like I'm saying, it has a lot to do with Inteleon. I really think Inteleon was reworked, or this was reworked into Inteleon
Maybe.
Also,
after this.
But we never see
comparing it as
Inteleon running on water.
Yeah,
No,
I
but
don't
it's
think
a
we do,
water
but
type.
it is clearly based on the basilisk. Like you can see it there with that image of the green basilisk. Inteleon's definitely like got that going. This is interesting though because it says it's a counterpart to Salandit and Salazzle, which makes me think it would have been like a version exclusive. Could have even been like maybe only the male of this one evolves. But then also we just heard that Turtonator was a 3-stage line, so it makes you wonder. Did maybe when they made Turtonator a single stage and made it a version exclusive to Drampa, they decided, well, let's scrap this lizard Pokemon because we've got enough version exclusives. We don't need another one.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
A lot of crossover there. Man, that's really cool. All right, let's take a commercial break first. But we're going to be talking about Scrapped Alolan regional forms next. We'll be right back.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt your listening experience, except I do because we actually have new merch all centered around Pokemon Legends ZA in the Kalos region. I'm so excited for this game. I think we all are. It's coming out sooner than you think. And we have, so it's kind of to celebrate that, we got a bunch of merchandise at shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com that celebrate and kind of are an ode to the Pokemon and the region of Kalos. We got ball caps of the starter Pokemon from X and Y. We got ball caps, t-shirts. Soul's got a really cool design right now that's all about Zygarde, and it's kind of a theory within a shirt. You can kind of see the Krozma is a little bit there in the design. Yeah, dude, that's so cool.
It glows.
It's one of my favorite things that we've actually created on this
Doesn't actually glow.
merch store. No, but it's a nice color though. It's a really nice
Yeah,
color.
it is. I just didn't want to false advertise.
Yeah, it glows in the dark. Yeah,
It looks like it does.
We should do that. We should do that.
It looks like it would. It's pretty cool.
We also have the starter Pokemon of ZA, Tepig, Chikorita, Totodile. Pick your favorite. Not only do we have the design on the front of the ball cap, but every single Hidden Power podcast like ball cap that we put out has this awesome sigil on the side of, or this little patch on the side of the hat, similar to like other Major League Baseball ball caps. Anyways, there's so much stuff here. This shirt's so sick right here. This is Legendary Aura Blue Premium Tee. You get the legendaries, you get the sword Pokemon, Zygarde, the starters, Noivern, Lucario. I got one of these t-shirts the other day and I just felt so cool all day. Like I put it on, I felt skinny, I felt muscular, I felt
it does. It makes you feel
so
good.
cool. I felt
really
so
does.
cool. I was like, this is insane. Like, anyways, so Legendary Aura available now at shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. Links are in the description. If you want to get some stuff, support the show.
support yourself. It's all there. And yeah, thank you for listening. Back to your listening experience.
Alolan Forms. Honestly, every time we go to talk about regional forms, I just like, I'm so grateful that like this is a feature, but it's a feature that Game Freak continued to implement on over the last decade, right? Like this could have been a one and done Alolan only feature, but you know, I just love regional forms. I think it makes so much sense in the Pokemon world. And what we're looking at here is that Generation 7 apparently had a bunch of scrapped Alolan regional forms, right? Which I don't think we got any of these in future games. But you know, we could see these in a Generation 10, Generation 11 game. Who knows?
Some of these you can see what they were reworked into as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Rhydon for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let me give the recap, and then we can kind of break it down. So first, the Rhyhorn line. There was supposed to be a regional form of Rhyhorn in its evolutionary line. These were going to be electric and rock type. I think we're all, you know, what we ended up with was the Geodude line, being the same exact type, electric rock. But it would have been interesting because I think the Geodude line is pretty well liked. And it would have been interesting to see a new version of, or I guess a parallel evolutionary line that maybe made the transformation from Rhydon to Rhyperior a little bit more, you know, natural. I feel like that evolutionary line is very jarring for a lot of people. So it would have been nice to see this line maybe developed as a whole, you know, with all three stages in mind when conceptualizing.
What's interesting about it too is that they did it shows like how early on in development this was scrapped, because like it actually only mentions a Rhyhorn regional variant, so you can assume there would have been a Rhydon one, maybe a Rhyperior one, but it does only mention a Rhyhorn, which just shows it was scrapped early. It also I'm trying to find it, but it was referred to in one of the things as a Talonflame killer. Which
wow.
is like,
see, that's just like in Lumi's memory bank. I wish we just knew where that was.
Yeah.
Sucks like that it's all like that. But
And you're talking competitively. I guess I could.
No.
What
I'm talking like lore. Like,
like
lore.
Oh, it
was
literally
described
eats
as, like,
Talonflame?
it was a Fiaro killer, which Fiaro is the Japanese name for Talonflame.
I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, you could look at the typing and just think, okay, electric beats flying, rock beats fire and flying, so that beats Talonflame. But it kind of makes me also think Rhyhorn's not. I mean, I think Rhyhorn in world is supposed to be fast because you race Rhyhorn, but I don't think it's actually a fast Pokemon mechanically. Right. So the electric type, to think that maybe we got a super speedy Rhyhorn is crazy. And I think it would have also been very cool, right? Rhyhorn is, it's a kaiju, but I do think base Rhyhorn is supposed to take a little bit of inspiration from a rhinoceros, at least the English name. I don't know. I can see it in the design, and I'm imagining like if it's still rock type, it's just as strong, but the electric. I'm imagining its horn almost having, instead of it being a drill, having like a jagged edge to it, like a lightning bolt. And this thing's just fast.
All right, so I found it. It was like in those little documents where it's just kind of detailing some areas. In the canyon, it details an electric rock Pokemon, and it says Alolan Shrike, which would be Alolan Rhyhorn.
Scyther.
And then
that one's Scyther, bro. Strike is Scyther.
This says electric rock. No, not strike. Shrike.
Oh.
Like SH. Which might be a reference to the bird, honestly. But it says that it is a Talonflame killer.
Wild.
Which is
love it.
Kind of, like that's super metal, honestly.
Yeah. With what Dusty was saying, like, I think Alolan Geodude, the whole line is kind of forgettable. Like, do people think about it much?
No.
Not much.
Geodude?
Yeah, Geodude, the line.
Oh, yeah, that's forgettable.
Oh, Alolan? Wait, you're saying
Alolan.
base
No,
Alolan.
not base. I'd say Alolan, though.
Base Geodude is iconic, I think.
Right. I agree.
Alolan.
Yeah, I think Alolan Geodude's kind of forgettable. Yeah.
Like, nobody thinks about that line much. And it's just, this might have been so epic. Like you can think of like an electrified rhino running faster. Like I think
Yep.
this would have been better, but I guess they couldn't. What probably happened is they couldn't think of something for its evolutions. You know what I mean? Like they had like the concept for the Rhyhorn,
Yeah.
and then they were like, obviously speculation, but
I think probably so. The one thing that groups all Alolan regional forms together is that they're all regional forms of Generation 1 Pokemon. And I wonder if Rhyhorn, the fact that Rhyhorn
Rhyperior
evolves into Rhyperior, which is not a Generation 1 Pokemon, might have had something to do with it. I also wonder if maybe they just started with Rhyhorn. I could see the thought starting with Rhyhorn as one of the main ride Pokemon in the previous generation in X and Y, right?
Mhm.
Being
Mhm.
like, oh, now we have ride Pokemon in Sun and Moon. That's going to be a main feature. What if Rhyhorn, right? All trainers know that you ride Rhyhorn in Alola. I'm sorry, in Kalos, but now you play Sun and Moon and you see, oh no, Rhyhorn is a different, in the Alola region, and you can still ride it. I feel like it's a really good touch point to compare and to showcase both ride Pokemon and regional forms at the same time. But then maybe it was scrapped because, like I said, Rhyperior is not a Generation 1 Pokemon.
It could have also been scrapped too, because like if they're able to conceptualize this Rhyhorn, even forgetting about Rhyperior, even Rhydon is such a drastic change from Rhyhorn.
Mhm.
Maybe they knew they wanted this quadruped rhino, but they couldn't quite figure it out for the biped one, and so they they scrapped it because this is regional forms. We don't have regional evolutions yet.
Yep.
Whereas if they did, maybe we would have gotten our regional Rhyhorn that then evolves into a brand new Pokemon.
Yep.
I think it makes a lot of sense. And right now I'm showing on screen our buddy Hoops and Hip Hop. He's got right here in the thumbnail, like his version of an electric Rhydon. So cool. But I think it, damn, did I lose my train of thought? I was so mystified by this concept art.
It's cool.
Yeah. What were we talking about? I lost my train of thought.
This guy being cool.
Oh man,
it's electric.
No. So I do think so. Like they had like in Alola, they had to sell us. They in Gen 7, they had to sell us on the idea of regional forms, and I think the way they did that was like they were like, listen, we're gonna show these new forms, but how do we know? How can we be sure that every one of these new regional forms isn't misconstrued for like just a new Pokemon? And I think it was important for Game Freak. Like they very intentionally made every regional form a form of a Gen 1 Pokemon because, if you're going to bet, everyone knows the Gen 1 Pokemon. It's an easy, it's an easy point of,
reference.
Difference. I don't know. I think even new regional forms are kind of not confusing, but I sometimes I get them shuffled up in my mind. But when I think of I don't know, the Kanto regional forms, they're so obvious, they're just they're like type swaps.
I think they do always get, they do always become more memorable too. Like I think people remember, on average, Galarian Weezing, Sirfetch, Galarian Rapidash more than they remember Galarian
Corsola.
Stunfisk.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you.
Galarian Stunfisk. What is that?
Yeah.
I literally forgot what it was.
Yeah. Either way, I think this would have been better than the Graveler line.
Yeah, it's cool.
For sure.
Oh, here's another version
Yeah,
that someone made.
Love it.
This is a Galarian, or I guess a Alolan electric type Rhyhorn. I can see it.
Yep.
There's some really cool art online. I didn't realize people made art for this. Here's the full art. So cool.
As time goes on, we'll get even more.
And that's what happens too. Is once you find out, like, oh hey, a electric rock Rhyhorn existed, people start drawing it. You figure, anytime something gets like revealed, released, whatever, anytime a Betamon leaks, people redesign it in like their art style, so it's not just a sprite.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we got a water and fairy type Seal and Dugong.
We're robbed. But this makes sense why it's not there, but it still sucks.
Yeah, probably scrapped from Primarina.
What do you imagine?
I don't imagine anything other than Majesty. Like, it just would have been good for
could have
Dugong
gone
to
the
get
Siren
something.
route, and that's why they scrapped it.
You
So
think it was
yeah, so
before?
the idea here is that these Pokemon were scrapped. These regional forms were scrapped, and instead we got Primarina and the Poplio line essentially, which was water and fairy type, and I think that makes sense.
I think
I got no rebuttal on that. I think that makes sense.
I think it depends when they were developed. They could have been developed like alongside each other, and then they were like, "Which one are we going to keep?" kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's
or maybe the idea was
obviously the
developing.
starter.
Or maybe the idea could have been like developed, and it was so good that they were like, "This just feels like it could be a starter Pokemon."
Yeah, that hurts my soul because it just Dugong. Look at that one there. Yeah, there you go. It's perfect.
Yeah, you just have this Dugong with
Aurora.
the Aurora Borealis theme. You already,
Aurora
one of it.
debut
I don't know if
gen,
it's a
I think.
signature ability or a move, but like Aurora Beam is something that like was often used in those earlier games. Yeah, I don't know. This line's just kind of like forgettable, but it could have been really cool.
Yeah.
I needed an upgrade. I think the
There
water.
you go. There's a good one too. That pink, and it's got like a fluffy ring around it. Right, you were just on it. Over 2. There you go.
Yeah, there's so
Nice.
many good ones.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like Poplio. I think Primarina's kind of an acquired taste.
Yeah, that's
But
I would have
just
preferred
this Pokemon
this. That's the thing.
deserves justice. Is the thing. Like
Mhm.
it's this isn't like a, I hate Primarina. I would have I actually really
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Primarina. But this is like a Dugong deserves some love, man. It's one
Yeah.
of the like 2 Kanto Pokemon who haven't gotten anything at this point.
Yeah.
Here's one of my favorite Dugong evolutions by Ondu Region. In it, you just see this like it's an evolution for Dugong, but it does have a lot of these Aurora Beam colors, right? The light blue, the light pink, the gradient. It's looking like a narwhal. It's got an even longer horn. These like ice ornaments around it. It'd be really cool if it became like fairy ice or something, just to make it more interesting. The water ice is really just lacking. We also could have had a bug and fairy type Scyther.
We also lost here. This actually helps the whole Dugong situation because it does
I don't think we lost.
It does seem like this might have become Lurantis. So that also supports that these were made before like a lot of the Gen 7 Pokemon, essentially.
Yeah, these could have been Gen 6, but I guess I like that there's a lot of attempts at additional fairy type regionals. That feels good coming off of Generation 6 when fairies like introduced or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think this Pokemon just became Lurantis. Let me pull up
Ironically,
Lurantis
though, Lurantis got neither the fairy nor the bug typing.
Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. But that's its whole thing that it,
Right.
It's just a grass. Is it just grass?
Yep.
Pure grass.
Yeah. It's a
But
good
it is
Pokemon.
it is a mantis, and
Yep.
it technically isn't, but it is shaped like a mantis.
is and it isn't.
Yeah. It is a mantis in design, and it is also very pink and fashionable. So
Yeah.
it could be fairy
Oh.
if you really wanted it to be. Yeah, it's such a good Pokemon.
So cool. Such a cool
Yeah, they could have
Pokemon.
scrapped it because they felt like we've seen, or not scrapped it, but like scrapped the typing of fairy for Lurantis because like they felt like they had enough, right? Like, I mean, we've seen them do that before where like they've kind of changed up the decks a little bit because they feel like they're missing a type or have too many types.
Mhm.
And I think Sun and Moon did have a decent type of fairies. I mean, just when I immediately think of it, I'm able to think
Rabombi,
of like Ninetales,
Primarina.
Rabombi, Primarina.
Yeah.
True. The fairy type could have gone to Rabombi as well because they already had, they
Oh,
wanted
sure.
to use
Bug
the
fairy type. That's a
Yeah,
good point.
the
Yeah.
bug fairy could have just went to Rabombi and then they used this design for Lurantis instead. So they split
Maybe
it up.
what is the thought process behind making Scyther a fairy type,
Yeah, also, would it have been that good? I don't know. It could have been cool.
I think
If
it was
like
cool.
if it was
Lurantis
like a-
is awesome. It would have been really cool. I guess maybe like I'm thinking about Swords Dance is one of Scyther's like signature moves. That Dancer. I don't know. I think of the fairy type with that. And maybe it's in contrast to, Scizor, which is like
Right.
so offensive and aggressive in that way.
Mhm.
So I can see that. And then finally, we have a fighting type Snorlax.
Which was
Do
going to
we
be...
have any more information on this?
It was going to be the Kahunas. Haka is his name? Or whatever.
Hala.
Hala? Haka's the dance. Close,
Hala,
but not exactly.
The
Oh, I know
kahuna
what
for
this
the
is.
First island was gonna,
Mhm.
and then I think personally, you could make the argument that you could see this being worked into its Z moves. It had a exclusive Z move, Snorlax did, and what's interesting too is the Z move was kind of treated like an afterthought almost, where you only get it in Sun and Moon by getting the early purchase bonus, where you get a Munchlax with the Snorlium Z. But in that Z move, you see Snorlax wake up and he's like super active and he runs and he jumps and there's an explosion. I don't know, that like active Snorlax kind of makes you wonder if maybe that was somehow worked around with the fighting type Snorlax regional form. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see it.
No, I totally
I'm not
agree.
too-
I think that's a really cool interpretation, Lumi. I feel like what happened is Snorlax was probably scrapped, this regional Snorlax, because instead we ended up with Beware.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and maybe what it was is that they were just trying to, you know, put more emphasis on new Pokemon rather than making everything a regional form. You know,
Right.
For
They needed
sure.
some as well. Yeah. I'm not too bothered about missing it, but maybe it would have been cool. Maybe I would have loved it. We'll never know.
Yeah, it's one of those Pokemon where I don't feel like, you know, like
It was
Dugong,
necessary.
it hurts because it's like, okay, Dugong needs some love, but like this is one where it's like probably would have been cool. I'm not like, what? You skipped out on Snorlax? Come on, you know?
I think Snorlax is so popular that I
Mhm,
think a
it
lot of
is.
people would have appreciated a new
Oh, for sure.
form of Snorlax. It really is one of the OGs.
Mhm.
I think Beware is great, and it is a new. It's a silly design that also feels, you know, I don't know. It feels
And it's a red panda.
really unique.
Stuffle's
Right.
adorable.
Stuffle's the best ever. Yeah.
Um,
Beware is a little.
But damn, yeah, like a regional Snorlax would be great. I hope we get one in the future. There's a
I
really cool
wonder-
one that's like fire type, or like I've seen ice type. Where
I've
it's
seen a
just
lot of
like-
people suggest grass type Snorlax.
Yeah. I mean, it
What
kind of
would that
became
be
that with the
for?
G
I have
Max.
no idea. I've just
Its
seen
G
it.
Max was kind of that, right?
Yeah, well,
whole
and like
tree
it
growing
came
on it.
from this old like rumor about like a island-based region that would have a grass type Snorlax and all this, and it kind of got a
Hmm.
lot of love.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay, we got. I think we're pretty much done. There's some more forms for the.
That's actually from
It-
Gen 6. That's not even Gen
Is
7.
it from
I'm
Gen
not sure.
6? That's what I was going to
Yeah,
ask you. If
'cause
this
that's
is even.
Horus. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
sure
so you
why
have,
that
like,
was here.
There were, if you go, there's a few that I mixed up there, but if you go into the pictures I sent you, there's a form of Mimikyu like without its cloth on, whatever you want to call it. I guess
Cloth.
Without its cloth. Come on, so
I'm tired. Okay.
that was the best way you could have worded that.
Oh, and we almost missed this. But there was also supposed to be for the regional forms. Let's see, open link. There was
Oh yeah, Pikachu. yeah.
allegedly a new fire type Pikachu regional form,
This
which
one's
really would have
tough.
been the ultimate, like. Well, I guess we did get Alolan Raichu.
Yeah, this
but-
one is tough. Soul's right.
because it's being used in as an example
Yes.
instead of like an actual concept. It's just like
So this image right here was taken from the data from the
slide.
Teraleak, and it's basically it's like a slideshow.
Mhm.
Page
It's a
19.
pitch.
It's a pitch for what regional forms are, right? So
You can see
the
the
rough
date of this pitch too, which is so neat to me.
2014. That's crazy.
Mhm. The game came out.
That
in
was when we were all
2016.
waiting for during the gap year they were working
No,
on this.
that was 2014. We got Oris that year. 2015 was the gap year, but like it makes you so 2 years before the game's release is like when they were working on the Alolan Forms.
Man, that's crazy. In this
Wild.
game, Pokemon can evolve in a variety of ways by meeting certain conditions. For example, Pichu grew up in the volcanic regions of this region, and it becomes a fire type Pikachu. Some Pokemon have multiple evolution conditions. So cool.
Yeah.
Just the thought of regional forms in general is so cool because in my mind, it really means that any Pokemon could potentially have an unlimited amount of regional forms depending on its environment. Just like any other animal. You put an animal species in a new location, it's going to adapt. It'll change depending on the
Mhm.
location to fit whatever environmental needs it has.
I mean,
really,
Meowth
really cool.
already has 2. So
That's so true.
Yeah.
Is Meowth the only region? only
So
Pokemon to have
far.
multiple regionals?
So far, I mean, another close example is Diglett has an Alolan form, and then also there's Wiglet, but that's not Diglett having 2 forms.
Yeah. No, but that maybe
Um,
counts.
But
Listen, yeah, I don't. Was there anything else? Oh no, Soul wanted to show us the new
There was-
Mimikyu form.
Yeah, if you go into the images I sent you, there was some different colored, like Wimpod has a little bit of a different design, and then Gliscod has a different color, and then Mimikyu is shown without its yeah, there you go.
So here's Wimpod. It's got a red tail. It's got red antennae. It's got
it's kind of like the shiny.
Kind of like
It does look like the shiny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
Gliscod
that's
is even
cool.
less like different, just to show them off a bit. But and then the Mimikyu is like in the concept art, where, and people were freaking out because like it's the real Mimikyu, but I'm like, I don't know if this is the real Mimikyu, like
Yeah.
hidden under its. That's all it is, maybe, but
I think it kind of is. You know.
it's just a blob. I don't know.
Imagine if
But that's what it
Teraleak
is. I
had
think it's just a
Diglett
little
on the
blob.
ground.
Wow. If you look down here, it really does look like Diglett.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little Diglett.
It is Diglett.
You know, it's weird that the concept art is of the shiny Mimikyu.
Yeah. There's probably a real one out there somewhere. Like the
Makes you
normal
wonder
colors.
if maybe the shiny
No.
could have been the original at one point.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Just to make
Oh,
it
yeah.
even more gray.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right.
Mm.
Gray and decrepit. But
Kind of
maybe
makes,
they like
yeah, because it
colored
adds
it a
to
little
like
bit.
that old and forgotten vibe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is a great shiny.
They also were supposed to have other Mimikyu forms, like one of which is speculated. I don't think it's detailed exactly what they were, but a lot of people think it probably would have been an Eevee one.
Yeah.
Because Pikachu and Eevee.
Yeah, all it said is that it had like 2 other clothing forms, essentially. So like instead of just Pikachu, it would have had a different clothing option on top of it. Like,
Sure.
but who
Eevee
knows
and
what they were?
Charizard.
Yeah, who knows what they were?
Honestly,
It's-
could have been Pichu and Raichu.
Which is
Yeah, I could see
exciting.
that.
I mean, a lot of people when
If it
Mimikyu
actually
came
evolved.
out, yeah, when Mimikyu came out, they made so many, like
Mhm.
put every Pokemon on top of it. You know what I mean?
People
I've
love
seen
this
so much.
thing too.
Yeah, I've seen
when
so
it
much
first
fan
came
art
out.
of that.
Soul, what was this? You sent me this picture. Is this related? This is
I don't-
an armored
know if it's-
Tyranitar.
I don't know if it's Gen 6. I think it's from the movie.
I think this
right?
is Gen 3 because this looks like from Lucario and the Mystery of Mew.
Yeah,
There was
whenever
like
there was
a-
the movie where they had like a war.
that was Lucario
That's the
and
one.
the Mystery of Mew.
Okay, so this is not
Yeah.
this is not from Generation 7.
No, it was cool, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
in fact, if you Google the movie poster, you can literally see the Tyranitar on it.
Okay. Yeah.
these are
Um,
just there's so many concept arts and things you didn't see. Like we've never seen a shiny Necrozma like that, or like these.
Yeah, that's
I just
cool.
threw these in here just in case we were we were looking for things to talk about. But the one last thing that I not this is not the last thing. If you want to talk about it, you can. But the one last thing was there was a feature that we've talked about on the podcast many times that was essentially like the first raid system. It's right here, this one with the robot Pokemon.
yeah.
But you would go to this island and you would fight these big Pokemons.
Oh yeah,
but,
Survival Island.
yeah, Survival Island. But they were robot Pokemon, which is like the first hint at essentially the paradox, like.
Oh,
robot.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah, that makes sense.
Because we didn't really have many robot Pokemon before this. I mean, Metagross maybe, like
Mecha
And it-
Tyranitar
and if-
from Pokestar Studios was also like
Yeah.
a start.
yeah, true. So they
But
had
yeah,
the
if you
idea.
wanted to if you wanted to make the connection, you got in Generation 7, Game Freak was thinking about future and past Pokemon, right?
Mhm.
Ancient Pokemon through the fossils,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So those ideas from Generation 7 bubbled up into Generation 9. What is Game Freak thinking about right now? What is Game Freak like what is going to be in Generation 10? That's a great question. But surely there's going to be things that are scrapped that we won't see until Generation 11 or Generation 12.
Yeah.
Which sounds hilarious, but I just mean, games 5 years from now, 6
It
years from now.
really could. You say it sounds hilarious, but it actually really may not. I mean, you figure Kamala was first seen in Gen 2, and it came out in Gen 7. So yeah, 5 more gens from Gen 7 will be Gen 12. So yes, we really could see this in Gen 12.
Yeah.
It's so cool to look at these Pokemon. It really is. We meant to do this video maybe 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And then like
So it's
2 months after that, and then like 2 months after that, and then like,
and then 2 months after that. But there kept being things that popped up.
yeah,
Yeah, but listen, I think there's so much more in Generation 7 that we can
Oh
cover.
my gosh, yeah.
There's so
I
many
think our
features.
plan is to cover all those features in another video and maybe talk about them in relation to, features we would want to see in future generations. So let us know if you want to see a part 2 for this video. We have a lot of other beta Pokemon and Teraleak podcasts detailing and kind of giving our thoughts on a lot of this stuff. I'll include a link to the playlist probably at the end of the video, but also in the description. Yeah, this was super fun. I don't know if you guys have any closing thoughts, but this was a fun little break from the rat race of Legends ZA content.
Indeed.
I just love it all. I would love to see it all realized one day, but this is probably as good as we're gonna get.
No, I think a lot of this stuff will eventually make it not the scrapped Pokemon, but
I'm saying all of it. You know what I mean?
sure, yeah,
I don't think we'd ever see all of it, but there's just so many cool ideas that
yeah, a lot of
you just
cool
can't
ideas.
do everything, unfortunately. But I love it.
If you guys liked this conversation, if you're still watching, consider hitting the subscribe button. It's free to do on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, Apple. You could even leave us a review. We're climbing in the charts. And if you guys want to go one step further, $5 a month on Patreon or YouTube gets you access to our secret Discord. You also will unlock and get access to all of our bonus content, all of our additional videos. We put out maybe 1 to 2 additional podcasts a month. With your support, we can start ramping that up and producing. Our goal is to start putting out 1 additional podcast every single week. So if you want to go a step further and support, you can do that. Links are in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have a little bit of a cold, so I'm going to go take a nap, I think, and blow my nose.
Nice.
But we
Rest
love you
up.
guys. Thank you for watching. There's more content. Links are in the description. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.